And looking at some of the definitions of options: decision, self-determination, choice, preference, desire. I want to share something with you that's relative to critical options, because we all have them in our lives. And I want to ask you a question. What is the focus of your life? What is the focus of your life? In life, you have a critical option. You can take a stand in your life, or you can follow the crowd. See, people who follow the crowd, their lives are not focused. They're not immersed in anything. People who take a stand, they're living a life that has some power, a life of achievement, a life that has some meaning. People that are taking a stand in life, they are consciously involved in a process to design a life of substance. People who are following the crowd, these are people that they're just doing what everybody else is doing. So that's a crowded road over there. They're following the followers. I want to talk to you about taking a stand with your life. And what are some of the things we can do that will enable us to give our lives up in a way that has some purpose and meaning, that can be real for us, that can give us a sense of fulfillment, of joy and happiness and peace of mind. See, most people are bored with life. Most people feel that life isn't worth the hassle, that life is just wearing me out. It's boring, it's monotonous. I have nothing to look forward to. Here we go again, another Monday morning. TGIF Day, thank God it's Friday. Here we go again, oh boy. You see what the man meant about many people die at age 25 and don't get buried until they're 65? Doing the same thing the same way every day, looking at these faces, just walking around. I mean, you got to be aware of these faces. They affect you, you know. Try to stay around pleasant faces, and if you have an unpleasant face, try and smile more. It's good for your health. And there's another dividend: you look better too. So looking for a way in which we can begin to give our lives some special power. Number one, commit yourself to giving your best at all times. Now that's not easy. See, most people, and particularly those who are working in corporations, they're finding now they've got to change their behavior. We're now involved in a world economy. We will never do business the way in which we've done business in the past. We will never be able to, in the American workplace, do just enough to get by. Now the standards have been raised. Quality and productivity has been increased because of the competition. And so now average performance will not be enough. This is a new day. Competition is fierce. So people who've been locked into a behavior pattern are working just hard enough to keep from getting fired. They're being laid off, are forced into early retirement. It's a new game now. So now more than ever, it's about increased productivity. Now more than ever, it's about superior quality service. Now more than ever, it's about creating a positive atmosphere in the workplace. And people that have that competitive age, people that are hungry to make it. So you got to be hungry now. You can't just casually walk around, well, I'll get to it later on. Oh, no, this is a new day right now. Committing yourself to give your best at all times, regardless of the competition to do otherwise, or the influences of negative people that will tell you, hey, look here, don't push yourself too much. Now's the time to push yourself, to always get in the habit of giving the best that you have to share. Thinking about a situation where I had to give a lecture out in Los Angeles, California for Xerox Corporation. Well, part of what I do when my profession is doing corporate training. My passion is doing training with kids. So when I go someplace, I always try and arrange for a community group to have a group of young people together for me to work with them on a volunteer basis in the evening. So I decided to go into an area of Los Angeles to talk with someone about doing that, and they suggested that I come to speak at a community center right outside Los Angeles at Carson Community Center. And because of the gangs in Los Angeles, one of the young men that was coming there to organize it, and his mother, he had a twin brother, and he took an interest in me because I have a twin. And his twin brother was the victim of a gang ritual They brought in a new member in the gang, and he had to prove that he was really with them and committed. And his job was just to select anybody at random and kill them. And he did that as this young guy was coming out of a store. So they told me, Mr. Brown, would you come over and talk to the teenagers here? There's a lot of depression and despair and hopelessness and people feeling powerless about the gangs. And bring with you some handouts and materials so you can do a workshop. And parents will be involved too. Would you be willing to do that? I said, well, I'm doing a full day seminar, and I'm usually just physically exhausted afterwards. How many people you say you're going to have? We guarantee at least 400 to 500 people there. I said, okay, I will come there and work with them and take them through this intensive. It's called Project Respect, how to create a shift in the community, how to get young people engaged in a process of creating positive peer pressure rather than buying into the negative peer pressure. Instruments and techniques of how we can provide ongoing coaching for young people to begin to change how they see themselves and their values and how to resist negative peer pressure. So I came there after working in a seminar, totally exhausted, in that Los Angeles traffic. It took over an hour to get there. Got there, they only had 7 people. I had an attitude. I said, you had me come all the way from Los Angeles after working all day just to talk to 7 people? You told me over 400 people were going to be here. Where are the parents? Only one parent here. My time is valuable. I've got all this material that we've copied to do a workshop. And so I went on and talked to those young people that were in the room, the 7 that were there, and I just gave them a little speech. And then I left. Went back to the hotel. That night around 3:30 in the morning, the phone rang. The minister that invited me called me and said, Mr. Brown, I've got to ask for your attention for a moment. I said, what is it? Kenyatta, one of the young men who was there, want to talk to you. He was the brother of the guy that was killed. He'd like to talk to you. He's been here for over an hour, and I told him, please don't call you. But he insisted. Would you please talk to him for a moment? I said, yes, put him on the phone. Kenyatta, what can I do for you? He said, Mr. Brown, I listened to your tapes for a long time. I've grown to love you and admire you. Among the things that I heard on your tapes that you said you must deal with circumstances such as you find them. You came in this evening and I admit, no, we did not have the numbers that you asked for. No, we did not deliver as we had promised we would. But we were looking for you, the motivator, to give us some hope. We were depressed and we don't know what to do. We were looking for some direction. And you were so caught up in pouting with your ego because we didn't have the place full. You didn't give us your best. I said, excuse me, I was laying in bed. I sit up then. Wait a minute here. Now, see, part of what won't let us grow in life is, number one, we identify when we get feedback. We start taking it personal. Number two, we start to justify. So I became defensive, and I said, wait a minute. I worked all day. I didn't charge y'all a quarter for this. I went carpet material. I came over there. I was there to give a training for the people, and all y'all had to do was bring people there. If you don't do it for me, for the next speaker that you have, at least provide an audience for him to work with. He said, are you through, sir? I said, yes. Mr. Brown, you said you must deal with circumstances such as you find them. We went round and round for about 45 minutes. Because my ego on the line, I can't let this young boy out debate me. He was not intimidated. I used all the verbal gymnastics and examples I could. He would not budge. And I said, okay, I'm sorry. Give me a break. And he said, it takes a big man to say he's sorry. That night, after I finished that young man, I prayed. I stayed on the floor by the bed. I said, Lord, if you ever give me a chance to speak again, I don't care if it's one person in the audience. I'm going to wear that one out. I learned my lesson.
Before we dive in, I want you to know something powerful. We've created an official WhatsApp channel where you can get unstoppable motivation, daily reminders, and the exact fuel you need to stay consistent on this journey. The link is right below in the description or pinned comments. Don't wait, because the people who stay plugged into that energy are the ones who keep moving forward every single day.
Ladies and gentlemen, most people don't realize it, but their biggest enemy isn't out there, it's in their own mind. Every day, countless thoughts pass through your head, and many of them are negative, automatic, and deeply limiting. These thoughts don't shout, they whisper. They tell you you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that it's too late. And the worst part, you start to believe them. You start to live by them. But what if you could catch those thoughts before they take root? What if you could stop them before they sabotage your confidence, your actions, and your future? In this talk, we're going to break down exactly how negative thinking works, how it quietly shapes your behavior, and most importantly, how to shut it down before it destroys your momentum. Because once you understand the power of thought, you'll never look at your inner dialogue the same way again. Let's get into it. Why do some people constantly second-guess themselves, while others seem to draw success effortlessly? The answer isn't talent or luck. It's mindset. If you don't take control of your thoughts, they'll end up controlling you. In this video, you'll learn how to turn your inner critic into a powerful supporter. And at the end, I'll share actionable, life-changing techniques you can start using immediately. Before we dive in, if you're interested in more insights about the power of mindset, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's a small habit that serves your future. When I first heard the phrase, "we become what we think about most of the time," it didn't mean much to me. Back then, I was just doing a regular retail job, nothing fancy, and I thought, that sounds like something from a self-help book, not real life. But over time, I noticed something important. People in the same job, with the same resources, were experiencing completely different outcomes. Some were making real progress, while others remained stuck, despite working just as hard. That's when it clicked. It's not your surroundings that define you. It's the internal story you're telling yourself. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, "I'm not smart enough," or "I never get lucky," or "things just don't work out for me"? These aren't harmless thoughts. They're like anchors, keeping you grounded when you were meant to rise. And if you still think negative thinking is just a passing mood, let me be clear, it's a script, one you're following every single day. And the most surprising part, you didn't even write it. That script was handed to you by a parent, a teacher, a former boss, maybe even a careless comment or a past failure. But here's the truth, you have the ability to rewrite it. I've been there myself. At 25, I had nothing, no money, no clear path forward, and no belief in myself. And down goes a passing thought. And the moment my life slipped into that path once again, my mind bid just debt, frustration, and a habit of complaining. One day, I had a realization. If I kept going the same way, I wouldn't just be financially broke, I'd be emotionally and mentally bankrupt too. That's when I began searching for ways to change my thinking. I started reading, having conversations with people, journaling my thoughts, and most importantly, interrupting negative patterns before they could take hold. Here's the truth, plain and simple. You can change your life, but it starts by changing the way you speak to yourself. Because the most dangerous voices aren't the ones around you. They're the ones you start believing inside. The ones that say it's too late, that you're not capable, that growth isn't possible for you. Let me say this clearly. That is false. The truth is, your mind can be trained to think differently. And I'm going to walk you through that process. In this video, we're not just talking about mindset. We're going to take action. You'll learn hands-on techniques to help you replace limiting beliefs. We'll break down where negative thoughts come from, how to recognize them, and most importantly, how to replace them with empowering thoughts that lift you rather than hold you back. At the end, I'll give you self-assessment questions you can use to evaluate your mindset and choose one area to focus on improving this week. Ask yourself this: do you trust your doubts more than your potential? Because here's something important I've learned. Doubt is a habit, but so is belief. And whichever one you reinforce becomes the foundation of who you are. When we talk about negative thoughts, we're not just talking about feeling down. We're talking about the silent phrases that repeat over and over until they become part of your identity. I call them silent saboteurs. They don't shout, but they're always there. They whisper things like, "Why try? You'll just fail." And the more you listen, the less you act. When you act less, you achieve less. And that lack of progress builds frustration. Before long, you're stuck in a trap you unknowingly built. One of the most powerful lessons I learned early on was this: ask questions. When doubt shows up in your mind, don't argue with it, expose it, question it. Let's say the thought is, "I'm not smart enough for this." Ask yourself, where did that come from? Is it even true? Or is it someone else's fear I adopted as my own? Think of your mind like a garden. If you're not planting something helpful, the weeds, negative thoughts, start growing automatically. And the first step to changing your mindset is being able to spot those weeds. The tricky part, negative thoughts sound convincing. They often speak in your own inner voice. They disguise themselves as caution or realism. They say things like, play it safe, or stay where it's comfortable. But let me tell you something, the comfort zone is where dreams slowly fade away. I've seen people sit there for decades. They call it being realistic, but deep down, they aren't fulfilled. Here's your first move. Write down your limiting beliefs. Clearly, honestly, no softening. Phrases like, I'm not worthy of success, or I always mess things up, or nobody really cares about me. And then underneath each one, write, where did this belief come from? Is it something I've actually experienced, or something that was planted in me? That awareness is a game changer. Most people are following mental scripts they've never questioned, but now you can. Next, you replace those beliefs, but not with empty affirmations. Replace them with grounded, truthful statements. If your thought is, I'm not good enough for this, reframe it, I may not have the skill yet, but I can learn and improve. That's not false hope. That's building a new, realistic belief. Don't say I'm useless. Say I have abilities I'm still developing. Don't say I'm unlucky. Say I create my own chances through action. I use a simple method for this. I call it thought plus action. When a negative thought pops up, I don't just fight it, I follow it with movement. If I think today's going to be tough, I immediately add, but I'll still accomplish one thing that matters. Then I do it. That one step shifts everything. It breaks the spiral of negativity. We can't stop every thought from entering our minds, but we can choose which ones to believe and which to release. One more thing to remember. Don't confuse positive thinking with ignoring reality. It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about looking directly at the challenge and still choosing to take action. That's not delusion, that's resilience. I've seen people go through incredibly difficult situations and come out stronger, not because they never felt fear or doubt, but because they chose their thoughts with intention every single day. And so can you. And last point, your thoughts are shaped by your surroundings. If you're always around fear, negativity, or complaints, it will rub off on you. But when you start listening to voices that talk about growth, possibility, and effort, your mindset changes, not by accident, by design. Want to shift your thinking? Start by changing what and who you're listening to. They called themselves realists, but they weren't content. Here's the first thing I suggest. Write down your negative beliefs clearly and honestly, without softening the truth. Things like, I'm not worthy of success, I always mess things up, or no one truly cares about me. Then, under each belief, ask yourself, where did this come from? Is this based on my actual experience, or was it planted in my mind? Awareness is half the battle. Many people go through life following scripts they've never questioned. They don't realize those thoughts can be challenged. Now comes the second step, replace the belief. But don't swap it for an empty feel-good phrase. Choose a statement that makes logical sense. For instance, if you think, I'm not capable of big things, replace it with, I don't know how yet, but I can learn and grow. That's not pretending, that's selecting a more useful truth. Instead of saying I'm useless, say, I have skills I can strengthen. Instead of I'm unlucky, say, I create opportunities through steady action. I use a simple method for this. I call it thought plus action. When I catch myself thinking a negative thought, I immediately pair it with an action. If I think today's going to be tough, I add, but I'll still accomplish at least one meaningful thing. And then I do it. That single action helps break the negative cycle. We can't control every thought that enters our minds, but we can choose which ones to hold on to. And here's an important reminder. Don't mistake positive thinking for denying reality. Positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring the facts or pretending things are perfect. It means seeing the challenge clearly and still choosing to believe in the power of action. When you face a tough situation and say, yes, this is hard, but I'll get through it, that's real strength. I've seen many people in difficult situations who refuse to let negativity take over because every day they chose what to focus on. And you can do the same. One more point. Your environment matters. Your thoughts often reflect the voices around you. If you're surrounded by constant complaints, fear, or doubt, it will affect you. But when you tune in to different voices that focus on possibilities and action, your mindset begins to shift. This isn't a trick or manipulation. It's simply what works. If you want to change your mindset, change the information you allow in. I always say, work on yourself more than you work on your job. Your job depends on who you are, and who you are depends on what you think. The choice is yours. The thoughts you feed are the ones that grow. Stay alert, because negativity doesn't announce itself loudly. It slips in quietly, becoming a habit. A phrase like, I'm just the kind of person who always fails. Repeat that often enough, and you start living it. So ask yourself, what negative thought plays most often in your mind, and why are you still holding on to it? And you start to think about who are you still holding on to? Maybe it's time to say enough. Maybe it's time to create a new reality without waiting for the world to change first. You can begin today with one new thought, one small action, and the cycle shifts. When I say everything starts with your mindset, it's not just a phrase. It's the foundation of everything. I've met people who had wealth but carried poor thinking, and they lost it all. I've also seen those with empty pockets but deep inner confidence, and they went on to build great things. Everything you have in the outer world reflects what's happening inside. Until you change the roots, the fruits won't change. One of the most common poisons is the thought, this is just how I am. It may sound like self-acceptance, but more often it's quiet resignation. It's a phrase that closes the door to growth, hiding behind ideas like I can't change or I'm not capable. But I say this, you aren't simply who you are who you've shaped yourself to be. And you can reshape yourself just as I rebuilt myself from a dreamless salesperson to a speaker reaching millions, not because I was special, but because I changed what I believed about myself. And when that belief shifted, my actions followed. Every one of us carries an internal script. It's a set of beliefs that runs on autopilot. Beliefs about what's possible, what's allowed, what isn't for people like me. And most of that script was written when we were young. Maybe someone told you you weren't smart. Maybe someone mocked you. Maybe someone said money isn't for people like us. And you believed it because you were a child, because you trusted. But now it's time to take the pen in your hands and rewrite that script. Real transformation starts with identity. If you keep thinking, I'm the kind of person who never finishes things, your actions will match that. Because the mind looks for consistency between your inner image and your behavior. But if you begin thinking, I'm the kind of person who sees things through, I get back up when I fall, I'm a creator, not a victim, your behavior will start to align, not instantly, but inevitably. That's the power of belief. Now let's talk about what to do in practice. One technique that changed my path was creating a new inner language on purpose. I started writing down the phrases I wanted to become part of my inner dialogue. Statements like, I grow and learn every day. I deserve a fulfilling life, and I have the power to shape my future. I repeated them daily, not like magic spells or wishful thinking, but as a decision, a commitment. Over time, my mind accepted those words as its own. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. I changed that inner voice, the one that once held me back. It became my supporter. And here's the fascinating part. The world around me started to shift too. People responded to me differently. New opportunities appeared, not because the world changed, but because I did. Because I started showing up differently. Another key factor is focus. Our minds work like radar, always scanning. If you're tuned in to negativity or limits, that's exactly what you'll find. If you keep asking, what's wrong, you'll always get an answer. But if you begin asking, what can I do? What is this teaching me? What's good in this situation? Your reality shifts because your focus has shifted. Here's a simple exercise. In the morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for, 3 goals you want to achieve, and 3 actions you'll take today. Just 9 lines. But this practice shapes your focus like a compass, and with daily repetition, it creates direction. And direction matters far more than speed. One more enemy of positive thinking is comparison. Social media has only made this worse. People see others' successes and think, I'll never have that, but they don't see the full journey. They don't see the pain, the mistakes, the struggle. So remember this, don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You don't need to be better than anyone else. You only need to be better than you were yesterday, and that's enough. When I first began speaking on stage, I wasn't the most polished or eloquent, but I was real. I didn't share what I'd studied, I shared what I had lived. And people felt that, because the most powerful mindset isn't just learned, it's lived. It doesn't simply help you speak, it drives you to act. And when you act from deep conviction rather than fleeting emotion, results follow. So let me ask you, what is your core identity today? Who are you really? Not your job title, your true essence. And is that identity leading you toward the life you want? If not, it's time to change it. You can start small with a new word, a fresh phrase, a different answer to that old question, who am I? You are not your past mistakes. You are untapped potential. And the moment you embrace that, your actions will begin to reflect it. We've already covered a lot together. We've explored how thoughts shape actions, how identity forms, and how every day gives you a chance to shift your direction. But now comes the moment when reflection must turn into action. Because knowledge without action is like a seed left in your pocket. It holds promise, but it won't bear fruit until you plant it. Let's do a simple exercise, a few minutes that can give you a clear view of where you stand and where to begin. This isn't a test, it's a mirror, and only you can decide how honestly you'll look into it. Picture a scale from 1 to 10. A 1 means you're struggling in that area. A 10 means you're showing up with strength, confidence, and consistency. Grab a piece of paper or open your notes app, and after each question, give yourself a score. Be honest. Only truth leads to strength. Let's begin. How often do you catch yourself in negative thoughts, and can you stop them before they take over your day? How much do you believe in yourself when starting something new? How steady are you emotionally when faced with criticism or setbacks? How disciplined are you in supporting a positive mindset through daily habits like reading, exercise, meditation, or gratitude? Do you feel like the author of your life or just a spectator? How much do you rely on others' opinions? How often do you focus on possibilities rather than problems? How well do you notice and appreciate small wins instead of brushing them aside? Is your environment helping you grow or pulling you back into old patterns? And most importantly, how willing are you to take action even when motivation is low? Now look at your scores. Just observe them. No judgment. You're not aiming for perfection. You're finding your starting point. Because real change doesn't happen by fixing everything at once. It begins with one focus. Identify the area where your score is lowest. That's where your biggest obstacle is hiding. And that's where your attention should go this week. So, what's next? Write that area down. Maybe it's self-belief, emotional resilience, or dependence on the opinions of others. Then create a simple plan. Choose one daily action that will help you grow in that area. If it's self-belief, write down 1 win each day, no matter how small. If it's emotional stability, practice pausing before you respond. If your challenge is people-pleasing, remind yourself, I don't hand over control of my life to someone else's words. And above all, keep it simple. One action, done repeatedly, small, steady steps. Because it's not huge bursts of effort that transform a life. It's small, consistent effort that doesn't quit. Write your plan for the week right now. Choose the time of day you'll do it. That single decision, simple as it may seem, holds more power than any motivational video because it's yours. Personal, intentional. You can even give your week a name, something like Week of Inner Calm or 7 Days of Self-Belief. Let that name be your flag because the moment you act with intention, life begins to respond. If what I shared today helped you, if it spoke to you, reminded you of something important, or gave you that needed push, just tap like. It's more than a button. It's a signal that these conversations matter. And to make sure you don't miss what's next, hit subscribe. We're only getting started. I also invite you to leave a comment. Share What thought has been holding you back the most, and which one are you ready to replace? This week, I'll read every single comment, and believe me, you have no idea how your story could inspire someone else. Look back on the journey we've taken together over these past few minutes. We started with a thought, maybe one that just yesterday echoed in your mind and pulled you down. We explored beliefs that weren't really yours, ones you picked up along the way. We talked about how to recognize them, how to interrupt them, and how to replace them. This wasn't a conversation about magic. It was about mental habits, about choices, about personal responsibility, about the daily work of becoming who you were meant to be. Because life isn't what happens to us. Life is how we respond to what happens. And thought is the first response. If that thought is strong, your actions will be strong. If that thought is clear and steady, the world around you will begin to reflect that clarity and light. This isn't a promise of instant happiness. It's the law of growth. I've seen people transform not because the world handed them a chance, but because they gave themselves permission to think differently. I've been that person. I knew I couldn't reach new heights with an old mindset, so I started small. I changed the first phrases I allowed into my mind. I cultivated a new inner language, first through effort, then through habit, and over time, it became part of my character. You are not who you were yesterday. You are not who you were a year ago. And you certainly don't have to be who the world led you to believe you are. The most powerful transformation isn't external, it's internal. And it always begins with this decision. I no longer think like a victim. I think like a creator. So when this video ends, don't just scroll to the next one. Pause, grab a sheet of paper, write down your most persistent negative thought, and next to it, write the new one, your new thought, one that opens doors, not one that closes them. Then write down one action you'll take tomorrow and do it not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because you deserve to stand on your own side. And remember this, mental discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's inner quiet. When the outside world gets loud, it's what allows you to stand steady in the chaos and still know who you are. It's a strength that doesn't need to shout, but quietly changes everything. And if a day comes when doubt creeps back in, return here. Because I'll always remind you of one thing. You are stronger than you think. And your mind, it isn't your enemy. It can become your greatest ally if you teach it to think in the right way. You don't need to fight the world, you need to win over yourself. And when you do, the world starts to notice. As I often say, work on yourself more than you work on your job. When you grow, everything around you grows too. When negative thoughts take root, they don't just cloud your mind, they quietly shape your actions, your confidence, and ultimately your future. But here's the truth most people overlook. You have the power to interrupt them before they take control. Imagine what could change in your life if you stopped feeding these thoughts and started replacing them with beliefs that build you up instead of break you down. That's exactly what we're diving into today. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending everything's fine. It's about learning how to recognize the moment those destructive thoughts creep in and having the tools to stop them before they create damage. The ability to master your thinking is one of the most valuable skills you'll ever build because every change you want in your life begins with what happens inside your mind. In this video, you'll discover clear, practical strategies that actually work, not fluffy ideas or empty motivation. We'll break down how to identify toxic thoughts early, how to shift your focus, and how to create daily habits that protect your mindset. You'll see how small mental changes repeated over time can reshape your reality in ways you never imagined. So if you're ready to take back control and build a stronger, clearer mind that serves you instead of limits you, this is the moment. Click play, because what you'll learn here could be the turning point that helps you stop negative thoughts before they destroy what you're meant to create.
This is Tony Robbins' track, and if this message hit you, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Write in the comments what your best self looks like today, because your words matter. They'll inspire someone else here. And don't forget, your next step is simple. Join the WhatsApp channel through the link in the description or pinned comments. That's where you'll get daily fuel to keep you moving, growing, and becoming. Remember, I am becoming my best self today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know the feeling of being motivated when excitement surges through us and we're ready to take on the world. Motivation is the spark that ignites action. It's what gets us out of bed on a Monday morning, makes us lace up our shoes for a run or sit down to tackle a new project. But here's the truth: motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like waves. Some days you'll feel on top of the world, while other days you might not want to move at all. That's where discipline comes in, because when motivation fades, discipline takes over. Discipline is what keeps you going long after the excitement wears off. It's the quiet, unwavering commitment to keep showing up regardless of how you feel. It's about making the decision to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. While motivation might help you start the race, it's discipline that ensures you cross the finish line. The people who succeed in life aren't always the most motivated. They're the ones with the discipline to keep moving no matter what. I think about it: when you rely solely on motivation, you're at the mercy of your emotions. If you feel good, you'll act. If you don't, you won't. That's why so many people set goals and never achieve them, because they wait to feel motivated before they take action. Discipline, on the other hand, is about doing what's necessary regardless of your emotional state. It's about mastering your emotions rather than letting them control you. In every area of life, whether it's your career, fitness, relationships, or personal growth, discipline is the key to sustained progress. Motivation is powerful but inconsistent. It can light a fire in you, but discipline is what keeps that fire burning. With discipline, you show up on the days when you don't feel like it, and over time, that consistency compounds into results. The beauty of discipline is that it's a skill anyone can develop. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the right feeling to start. The more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. Each small act of discipline reinforces the next, creating a cycle of progress that will ultimately lead to the success you desire. So the next time you're tempted to wait for motivation, remember, this motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a choice. And every day you have the power to choose discipline over comfort, action over procrastination, and long-term growth over short-term pleasure. It's not easy, but it's always worth it. Success is not achieved overnight. It's not the result of one grand moment of inspiration or a single burst of effort. Instead, it's built day by day through the small, consistent actions we take. This is where discipline plays a crucial role. Discipline isn't just about forcing yourself to do something, it's about creating habits that become part of who you are. When discipline becomes habit, success becomes inevitable. We often hear the phrase, "we are what we repeatedly do." Habits are the building blocks of our lives, shaping everything from our health to our careers and relationships. The things we do every day without thinking are what ultimately determine the trajectory of our lives. Discipline is the tool that helps us form those habits. At first, it takes conscious effort to push ourselves into action, but over time, with consistent discipline, those actions become automatic. Imagine the power of waking up every day and knowing exactly what needs to be done without questioning it. That's the power of habit formed through discipline. When you no longer have to rely on willpower alone to make decisions, you free up mental energy for greater achievements. You don't debate whether or not to exercise to work on your goals or to stick to your routines. It's simply part of who you are. And that's the beauty of disciplined habits. They work for you even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, the most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who have mastered their habits. They've used discipline to build routines that set them up for success day after day. Whether it's athletes training consistently, entrepreneurs working on their businesses, or students studying diligently, the secret lies in the habits they've developed through discipline. Habits, once established, create momentum. When you practice discipline long enough, your actions compound and the results begin to accelerate. You start to notice improvements in your health, productivity, and personal growth. What once felt difficult now feels natural, and what once required effort now feels effortless. This is the magic of disciplined habits. They lead to exponential growth over time. But here's the key: it all starts with a decision to be disciplined. To take that first step, to show up consistently, even when it's hard. Every time you choose discipline, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your success. And brick by brick, habit by habit, you're building a life that's aligned with your goals and dreams. Discipline is at its core
the mastery of self-control. It's the ability to choose your actions deliberately instead of being ruled by impulses and emotions. In a world full of distractions, temptations, and shortcuts, discipline gives you the power to stay focused on what truly matters. It's about taking control of your life and not letting fleeting desires derail your long-term goals. Mastering self-control is the key to unlocking your potential and creating a life of purpose. Every day we're faced with countless choices. Some seem small and insignificant, while others may appear more important. But over time, it's the small choices, the ones we make when no one is watching, that shape our lives. Discipline helps you make the right choices, not just the easy ones. It's the voice that tells you to get up early when your bed feels too comfortable, to stick to your plan when distractions are calling your name, and to say no to short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Think about how often we are tempted to indulge in habits that provide immediate satisfaction but offer little value in the long run. Whether it's binge-watching TV, endlessly scrolling through social media, or eating unhealthy food, these temptations can pull us away from our true goals. Discipline is the power that helps you resist those urges. It's about taking control of your desires rather than letting them control you. When you master self-control, you create space for success to flourish in your life. Self-control also teaches you to prioritize. Life is full of competing demands, and without discipline, it's easy to get pulled in 100 different directions. Discipline helps you focus on what's important, allowing you to say no to things that don't align with your goals. This clarity leads to greater productivity and a sense of purpose because you're no longer wasting time on activities that don't move you closer to where you want to be. At the heart of discipline is the ability to delay gratification. It's the recognition that lasting success requires patience and persistence. While it's tempting to seek quick wins or instant pleasure, real achievement often takes time. Discipline allows you to put in the hard work today, knowing that the rewards will come later. This mindset shift from seeking immediate results to embracing the process is a game changer in the pursuit of greatness. Mastering self-control also builds your confidence. Every time you choose discipline, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. You gain trust in your ability to follow through, to resist distractions, and to stay on course. This growing confidence fuels even greater discipline, creating a positive cycle of self-mastery and success. In a world that craves instant gratification, discipline is the secret weapon that helps you prioritize long-term vision over short-term comfort. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, seeking immediate pleasures or quick wins. But success, in its truest form, doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of sustained effort, consistent choices, and a relentless focus on the bigger picture. Discipline teaches us that the most valuable rewards come not from giving in to the easy path, but from investing in the journey toward lasting fulfillment. Discipline is what allows you to see beyond the present moment. It enables you to resist the allure of temporary comfort and focus on what truly matters in the long run. It's about making sacrifices today for a better tomorrow. Whether it's resisting the urge to procrastinate, choosing to work out when you'd rather relax, or saving money instead of spending it, discipline reminds you that the greatest victories are won over time through patience and persistence. Success requires the ability to delay gratification. This means choosing the hard road now, knowing that the rewards will come later. It's about understanding that the pleasure you get from a momentary indulgence pales in comparison to the satisfaction of achieving your goals. Discipline is the tool that keeps you on course, reminding you that the discomfort of today is temporary, but the rewards of staying committed will last a lifetime. When you embrace discipline, you become less reactive to the whims of the moment and more focused on your long-term vision. It's the difference between choosing a fleeting high and a lasting achievement. You may not see results immediately, but with discipline, you trust the process. You understand that the small, disciplined actions you take each day will compound into something extraordinary over time. Success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And discipline is the steady pace that keeps you in the race. The key to embracing long-term vision over short-term comfort is shifting your mindset. Instead of focusing on what you can gain right now, you focus on who you're becoming through your discipline. Each act of self-control, each decision to prioritize your future, is a step toward becoming the person capable of achieving your dreams. Discipline transforms you from someone who chases quick wins to someone who is building something meaningful. There will always be moments when taking the easy way out seems appealing, but discipline helps you remember why you started in the first place. It reconnects you to your purpose and keeps you grounded in your commitment. Every time you choose to push through the discomfort, to stay the course when others might quit, you're reinforcing your dedication to your long-term vision. And with that dedication comes the confidence that no matter how long it takes, you will achieve what you set out to do. At first glance, discipline and freedom may seem like opposites. After all, discipline requires rules, structure, and sometimes even restrictions, while freedom suggests the absence of limitations. But in reality, discipline is the very thing that creates true freedom. It's the foundation that allows you to take control of your life, achieve your goals, and live on your own terms. Without discipline, freedom is just a fantasy and illusion that crumbles under the weight of chaos and indecision. Discipline gives you the power to set boundaries for yourself and stick to them. It might feel restrictive at first, but over time, you'll realize that these self-imposed limits actually free you from distractions and wasted time. When you have discipline, you don't get lost in a sea of endless choices. You know what needs to be done, and you do it. This clarity brings a sense of calm and control, allowing you to focus on what truly matters without being overwhelmed by unnecessary options. One of the greatest freedoms that discipline provides is the freedom from procrastination. We all know how stressful it feels to put things off until the last minute, scrambling to finish tasks that could have been done days or weeks ago. Discipline eliminates that anxiety by pushing you to take action consistently. It creates a sense of momentum. So instead of being weighed down by a mountain of unfinished work, you experience the freedom of progress, knowing that you are moving forward every day. Discipline also frees you from the regrets that come from not living up to your potential. Imagine looking back on your life and realizing that you could have achieved more, done more, or been more if only you had been disciplined. That's a regret no one wants to carry. By practicing discipline today, you free yourself from future what-ifs. You give yourself the peace of knowing that you did everything in your power to live a life of purpose and accomplishment. There's also a financial freedom that comes from discipline. When you learn to control your spending, save consistently, and make wise investments, you build a life of financial security. While it might mean saying no to impulse purchases or luxuries in the moment, discipline creates long-term financial freedom. It frees you from debt, financial stress, and the fear of not having enough. With discipline, you gain control over your money instead of your money controlling you. Health is another area where discipline breeds freedom. By practicing discipline in your diet, exercise, and lifestyle choices, you gain the freedom to live a healthier, more energetic life. The disciplined choices you make today, choosing to eat well, to move your body, to rest, will pay off in the long run. You'll have the freedom to enjoy life to its fullest without being limited by preventable health issues or lack of energy. Discipline ensures that your body serves you well for the long journey ahead. Discipline, like any skill, is not something you're born with, it's something you build. It's just like a muscle. The more you work at it, the stronger it becomes. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't rely on natural talent or luck. Anyone can cultivate it with consistent effort. Just as you strengthen your body through regular exercise, you can strengthen your willpower and self-control through daily acts of discipline. When you first start exercising a muscle, the process can feel uncomfortable and even painful. But with time and persistence, that muscle grows stronger. The same applies to discipline. At the beginning, doing the hard things, getting up early, sticking to your routine, or resisting distractions can feel like a struggle. But the more you push yourself to stay disciplined, the easier it becomes. The actions that once required intense focus and effort will gradually become second nature. Small victories are the foundation of building your discipline. Every time you choose to be disciplined in a small way, whether it's completing a task on time, making a healthier choice, or sticking to a daily habit, you're adding a rep to your mental muscle. These small, daily acts of discipline compound over time. They lead to greater self-control, better habits, and ultimately greater success. The key is consistency. Discipline thrives on repetition. The more you train your discipline muscle, the more it spills over into every aspect of your life. Discipline isn't just about one area, it's about your entire mindset. When you practice discipline with your fitness, for example, you'll find that it strengthens your work ethic, your financial habits, and even your relationships. Discipline is contagious. The more you apply it in one area, the more it positively impacts other areas of your life. Training discipline also means accepting the discomfort that comes with growth. Just like in physical training, there will be moments of strain, moments when you want to quit. But remember, that discomfort is where the real progress happens. Discipline pushes you beyond your comfort zone and into the space where real change occurs. It's in those moments of resistance that you grow the most, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. But here's the best part: discipline gets easier with time. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes routine, and what once required effort becomes automatic. It's no longer about forcing yourself to do the hard things, it becomes a part of who you are. You start to realize that discipline isn't about restriction, it's about empowerment. It gives you the power to control your life. Instead of being controlled by impulses or circumstances, our body serves you well for the long journey ahead. In life, we often admire people with natural talent, those who seem to excel effortlessly in their field, whether it's in sports, business, or the arts. But the truth is, talent alone is never enough. Talent might give someone a head start, but discipline is what ensures they finish the race. Discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter how gifted you are, if you don't have the discipline to put in the work, Time and time again, discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Discipline is what separates the good from the great. You might not be the most talented person in the room, but if you have the discipline to work harder, longer, and smarter, you will outperform those who rely solely on their natural abilities. Discipline ensures that you show up every day, regardless of how you feel, and put in the effort required to grow and improve. It's about consistency, and consistency always wins in the long run. The reason discipline beats talent is simple: discipline leads to mastery. No matter how naturally talented someone may be, mastery requires repetition, practice, and constant improvement. Discipline drives you to put in the hours necessary to refine your skills and perfect your craft. Talent can help you get started, but discipline is what sustains you over the long haul. It's the fuel that powers your growth, turning potential into reality. Consider the world's greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and artists. What sets them apart isn't just raw talent, but their unwavering commitment to disciplined practice. They don't rely on their natural abilities. Instead, they push themselves to get better every single day. They understand that talent alone won't carry them to the top. It's their discipline that keeps them improving, learning, and evolving. They embrace the grind because they know it's the only path to greatness. Discipline also helps you overcome the challenges that talent alone can't handle. Life will throw obstacles your way, and talent might not always be enough to push through. Discipline, on the other hand, gives you the resilience to keep going when things get tough. It teaches you to persevere in the face of adversity, to stay focused on your goals, and to push through discomfort and setbacks. Discipline turns obstacles into opportunities for growth. Moreover, discipline fosters humility. It teaches you that no matter how talented you are, there's always room for improvement. When you practice discipline, you're constantly striving to be better, to learn more, and to challenge yourself. It prevents you from becoming complacent or resting on your laurels. With discipline, you're always moving forward, always growing, and always crushing the boundaries of what you're capable of achieving. One of the greatest gifts discipline offers is the opportunity for continual growth. It's easy to stay comfortable, to settle into routines that don't challenge us, and to avoid the hard work of improvement. But discipline pushes us beyond that comfort zone, compelling us to evolve and expand our capabilities. When you choose discipline, you choose growth, and growth is the key to unlocking your fullest potential. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires intentional effort and a commitment to constant self-improvement. Discipline is the engine that drives this process. Whether you're trying to improve your career, develop new skills, or elevate your mindset, discipline ensures that you're consistently taking the necessary steps to better yourself. It turns aspirations into action. Without discipline, even the best intentions remain just that, intentions, without follow-through or progress. The path to growth is often uncomfortable, and that's where discipline shines the brightest. It encourages you to embrace discomfort as part of the process. Growth happens when you push yourself beyond your limits, but that requires the mental strength to endure challenges and setbacks. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when things get tough. It's the inner voice that says, keep going when quitting feels easier. Discipline helps you see discomfort not as something to be avoided, but as a signal that you're on the right path. Every small step you take through disciplined action contributes to your growth. You don't have to make huge leaps overnight. Growth is a gradual process. With discipline, even the smallest efforts compound over time, leading to significant progress. Whether it's reading a few pages of a book every day, practicing a skill for just 30 minutes, or making healthier choices, discipline ensures that you are constantly improving. It's the accumulation of these small actions that creates long-lasting transformation. Discipline also helps you track and measure your growth. Without discipline, it's easy to lose focus, drift from your goals, or forget where you started. But when you practice discipline, you establish habits of reflection and self-assessment. You're able to look back and see how far you've come, which fuels your motivation to keep growing. This sense of accomplishment becomes a feedback loop. The more progress you make, the more driven you become to continue pushing yourself to new heights. Moreover, discipline nurtures a growth mindset. When you commit to self-improvement, you start to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Discipline shifts your perspective from fearing failure to embracing learning. Each time you fall short or make a mistake, you see it as a chance to grow, not as a reason to give up. This mindset is crucial for long-term success because it keeps you focused on progress rather than perfection. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles. No matter how carefully you plan or how talented you are, difficulties are inevitable. This is where discipline becomes your greatest ally. Discipline builds resilience, the strength to keep going when times get tough. It helps you persevere through adversity, bounce back from failures, and remain steadfast in the face of obstacles. With discipline, you develop an unshakable mindset that refuses to give up, no matter the circumstances. Resilience isn't about avoiding challenges, but rather about confronting them head-on and having the mental toughness to persist. Discipline equips you with that toughness. When you practice discipline consistently, you train your mind to stay focused on your goals, even when you encounter resistance. It's easy to give up when things get hard, but discipline reminds you that difficulty is part of the journey. It keeps you grounded, pushing you forward when others might quit. When adversity strikes, it's discipline that stops you from falling apart. While emotions like frustration, fear, or doubt might try to sway you, discipline keeps you on course. It teaches you to respond to challenges calmly and strategically instead of reacting impulsively. Discipline helps you stay clear-headed and focused, making decisions that align with your long-term goals rather than being derailed by momentary setbacks. With discipline, you can face adversity with confidence. Failure is a natural part of any worthwhile endeavor, but discipline helps you turn failure into fuel for success. When you're disciplined, you don't see failure as the end of the road, you see it as feedback. You recognize that every setback is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and come back stronger. Discipline teaches you that the path to success is not a straight line, it's a series of ups and downs. And with each down, discipline helps you rise again, more determined than before. Resilience isn't just about enduring challenges, it's about thriving in the face of them. When you're disciplined, you develop the ability to thrive under pressure. You learn to embrace the struggle, knowing that it's building your character, strengthening your resolve, and preparing you for even greater challenges ahead. Discipline helps you see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones on your journey to success. Each challenge you overcome with discipline makes you stronger and more resilient. Over time, discipline transforms you into someone who is unbreakable. The more you practice discipline in the face of adversity, the more resilient you become. You begin to trust in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. You're no longer afraid of challenges because you know you have the strength and discipline to overcome them. This resilience gives you a quiet confidence that allows you to keep moving forward no matter how tough the road becomes. Discipline is not only a personal journey, it has the power to create a ripple effect that inspires those around you. When you embody discipline in your life, you set an example for others, showing them what is possible when you commit to your goals and push through challenges. Your actions speak louder than words, and by demonstrating discipline, you empower others to pursue their own paths with determination and focus. You become a beacon of inspiration, encouraging others to strive for greatness in their lives. When people see your dedication to your goals, they can't help but take notice. Your discipline acts as a source of motivation for those around you, sparking their interest and prompting them to reflect on their own habits. Whether it's your family, friends, or colleagues, your commitment to discipline can inspire them to adopt similar practices in their lives. You might not even realize the impact you're having, but your example can encourage others to take action, overcome their own obstacles, and reach for their dreams. Moreover, discipline fosters a sense of community. When you surround yourself with disciplined individuals, you create an environment that encourages growth and accountability. As you commit to your own discipline, you'll find that you attract like-minded people who share your values and aspirations. Together, you can lift each other up, hold each other accountable, and inspire one another to achieve your goals. This collective discipline amplifies the positive energy and motivation within your community, creating a culture of success. The influence of your discipline goes beyond your immediate circle. As you embody discipline and pursue your goals, you contribute to a larger narrative of what it means to strive for excellence. Your story of perseverance and commitment can inspire others in your community, workplace, or even online. People love to hear about success stories, and when they see someone who has put in the hard work to achieve their dreams, it gives them hope and belief in their potential. Your discipline can ignite a spark in others that leads to profound change. Furthermore, discipline cultivates resilience not just in you, but in those who observe your journey. When they witness you overcoming challenges, staying focused on your goals, and persisting through adversity, it instills a sense of belief in their own ability to overcome difficulties. Your journey becomes a source of encouragement, showing others that they too can endure struggles and emerge victorious. This shared experience of resilience creates a community that thrives on mutual support and motivation. As you inspire others through your discipline, you also create a legacy of growth and achievement. Your impact extends far beyond your own accomplishments. You become a catalyst for change, empowering others to pursue their passions and aspirations. This ripple effect of discipline creates a positive cycle where inspired individuals go on to inspire others, spreading the message of commitment and perseverance throughout their networks. In a world filled with distractions and noise, discipline is the key to achieving clarity. It enables you to cut through the chaos and hone in on what truly matters in your life. With discipline, you can prioritize your goals and focus your energy on actions that align with your purpose.
This clarity is essential for making meaningful progress, as it allows you to navigate through life with intention rather than being swept away by the currents of everyday distractions. When you practice discipline, you create a structured environment that fosters focus. This structure helps you establish routines and set boundaries, which are crucial for maintaining concentration. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by information overload and the demands of modern life. However, discipline gives you the power to filter out the noise, enabling you to dedicate time and energy to the pursuits that genuinely matter. With clarity of purpose, you can make decisions that align with your values and long-term aspirations. Moreover, discipline provides you with a framework for setting and achieving your goals. When you know what you want to accomplish, discipline helps you break down those goals into actionable steps. This process not only clarifies your path, but also makes your goals feel more attainable. Each small step you take becomes a building block, bringing you closer to your vision. Discipline keeps you on track, ensuring that you remain focused on your objectives, even when the road gets tough. As you cultivate discipline in your life, you'll also find that it enhances your decision-making abilities. When faced with choices, discipline allows you to weigh your options thoughtfully, considering what aligns with your goals and values. It helps you resist impulsive decisions that may lead you astray, guiding you toward choices that promote your growth and well-being. This clarity in decision-making fosters a sense of confidence, as you know you're acting in alignment with your true purpose. Discipline also leads to greater self-awareness. When you practice discipline, you take time to reflect on your actions and their alignment with your goals. This introspection fosters a deeper understanding of motivation, strengths, and areas for improvement. With this heightened self-awareness, you can adjust your course when needed, ensuring that you remain aligned with your vision. Clarity emerges from this self-reflection, enabling you to navigate your journey with purpose and conviction. In addition, discipline empowers you to manage your time effectively. Time is a finite resource, and discipline teaches you to use it wisely. By prioritizing tasks and eliminating distractions, you can focus your efforts on activities that drive you closer to your goals. This mastery of time management creates a sense of control over your life, allowing you to make the most of each day. With discipline, you can allocate your time to what truly matters, ensuring that you stay on the path toward your aspirations. Success is often seen as a destination, a goal to be reached, or a milestone to be achieved. However, true success is not merely about reaching a specific point, it's about the consistent actions and habits that lead to lasting results. Discipline is the foundation of that success. It's the unwavering commitment to your goals, the daily choices that align with your values, and the perseverance to keep going, even when the journey gets tough. Without discipline, success can be fleeting. With it, you create a sustainable path toward your aspirations. When you embrace discipline, you cultivate habits that support your goals. Habits are the building blocks of success. They determine your daily actions and shape your future. By consistently practicing discipline, you establish routines that become second nature over time. These routines drive you to take action even when motivation wanes. When discipline becomes ingrained in your life, it transforms the way you approach your goals, making success not just possible, but inevitable. Moreover, discipline fosters accountability. When you commit to being disciplined in your actions, you hold yourself accountable for your progress. This accountability is essential for maintaining momentum on your journey to success. It encourages you to stay on track, review your goals regularly, and adjust your course when necessary. With discipline, you're less likely to succumb to procrastination or distractions because you have a clear commitment to your objectives. You become your own motivator, pushing yourself to stay focused and driven. Discipline also teaches you resilience, which is a crucial component of lasting success. The road to achievement is often paved with challenges and setbacks. Those who lack discipline may falter at the first sign of difficulty, but with discipline, you learn to embrace obstacles as opportunities for growth. Each challenge becomes a chance to strengthen your resolve and adapt your strategies. Discipline instills a mindset of perseverance, allowing you to bounce back from failures and keep moving forward, no matter the circumstances. In addition, discipline promotes a sense of purpose. When you are disciplined in your pursuits, you become deeply connected to your goals and the reasons behind them. This connection fuels your passion and commitment, making the journey towards success more meaningful. You begin to understand that success is not just about achieving external accolades, but also about personal growth and fulfillment. With discipline, you cultivate a sense of purpose that drives you to strive for excellence, creating a legacy of achievement that transcends mere accomplishments. Furthermore, lasting success is often a product of continuous improvement. Discipline encourages a mindset of lifelong learning and growth. When you commit to being disciplined, you become open to feedback, willing to adapt, and eager to develop new skills. This dedication to self-improvement ensures that you stay relevant and competitive in an ever-changing world.
It allows you to refine your approach, innovate, and push the boundaries of what's possible, ultimately leading to greater success. In the end, discipline is the key that unlocks the door to lasting success. It transforms your goals into achievable realities, fosters accountability, nurtures resilience, and provides a sense of purpose. With discipline as your foundation, you build a sustainable path toward achievement that withstands the test of time. Embrace discipline in your life, and you'll find that success is not just a destination, but a journey marked by consistent effort, personal growth, and the fulfillment that comes from pursuing your passions. Choose discipline, and you'll create a future defined by lasting success and extraordinary accomplishments.